So the setting for Battlefield 5 has been officially revealed, and before I hold you guys any longer, I'll go straight into showing you the trailer, and then I'll get into some thoughts and some things that I might have noticed from the trailer.
Launching grenade! I got you back! That's the rockets!
Hello, old friend.
Games play best on Xbox One.
So wow, what a trailer. First of all, before we get into the details of the trailer, I do want to cover some of the things they talked about in the live stream, some things you might have missed. So first of all, apparently they're going for more of an immersive focus, kind of getting really involved in the battle. I'm okay with this, so I definitely prefer a more enjoyable focus, something that I want to constantly play, constantly come back to. Well, I do love immersion, so honestly I can see this being a positive in two different ways. They did confirm that co-op is back now, called Combined Arms. Hopefully there's some kind of combined story, but I really kind of wonder if this is just sort of a mode to chuck in there to have a third mode, unlike something that Battlefield 1 had where there was no third mode, it was just story, the multiplayer, and then nothing else. So maybe this is a sort of thing they're adding in to get some kind of third mode there for teamwork. I'm really happy with this. I love co-op. I've just got to find a couple of friends to play it with, but aside from that, it is a lot of fun to do, and I really hope they add some cool things in there that you can get in order to get some reason to play the co-op rather than just playing with friends. So playing in the background currently is the trailer in slow motion. If you see anything that I don't mention later on in the video, then please tell me down below in the comments, and I'm sure to cover it in a later video. Now, what they did confirm is that players can be knocked back from explosives in combat. This could be really cool and could be an awesome mechanic to see. This could also be really kind of annoying and kind of get in the way. If you imagine in the sense of, in Battlefield there's little explosions anyway, they're constantly going off and you're constantly getting chucked everywhere, it could be a really sort of broken mechanic that honestly might kind of ruin the game if not properly implemented. If it is properly implemented, it'll be fantastic, and honestly could add a whole different level to the way you play. You have to avoid explosive more rather than just sort of taking it at face value and then carrying on. One of the things that I am super hyped about that they revealed is Grand Operations. This is Operations, but now over multiple game modes and maps. So this should feel, like they said, like 4 different days, and rather than being sort of, oh, we won this map, we push you forwards, you defend again, apparently this should be more like you win the first day, you come for the second day, and you'll have more resources. If you won the previous one, you'll have less resources, and you really should have more of a focus in terms of winning the battle if you manage to win the first one. Now, I was waiting for something like this, and they did kind of reveal the Battle Royale mode. Now, what they said was that at the end of a grand operations, if there's a stalemate, which in this new mode there totally could be, and I think honestly this solution is very clever. Apparently it becomes you and your squad. I'm not sure if that's entirely just you and your squad, or you and your squad within the team, but they said that everybody has one clip, and it's all about being able to stay alive, and the last person alive wins. Now, in some way, I do think they're going to add this in as a game mode in its own. The popularity of Battle Royale games at the moment, there's no way they just couldn't add this in as its own game mode, but I'm really kind of happy they added this in at the end of a stalemate for grand operations. I truly think that's actually a solid way to sort it out. Now, they mentioned a lot of customization. There's a new mode called The Company, where it's basically your squad, and you can work with your squad to get a different look, a style, maybe sort of clothing, different weapons and items, and it appears this will be your customization menu. I think what's happened is they've entirely gotten rid of the certain look for different classes, and they're just going with you can customize it however you want. One of the things we do see later on in the trailer is a player using an MG42, a light machine gun, but he appears to be playing Assault. And typically, of course, a light machine gun would be used by the support class. He doesn't use any gadgets or show any gadgets that make it evident what class he is playing, but I do wonder if they're entirely scrapping the principle of certain guns for certain classes, and if they're going just straight with you can have any guns for different classes, and it's all about the gadgets you pick instead. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I think the classes are important for getting a good balance in the game and getting a good balance in the team, but honestly, if they do it right, obviously, there's a way this can definitely work. Now, The Company is really, I think, a fantastic idea. It's a great sense of, rather than just being a platoon, you can really customize your soldier, have this great strong look to your soldier, and there's a lot of possibilities they can do. Some of the stuff they've shown off for customization is truly insane, and I cannot wait to just try and mix and match everything. Now, in terms of war stories, they briefly mentioned one of the war stories, a Norwegian sniper, I assume she is. She's a Norwegian female character in the conflict versus the Nazis, and they said it really portrays the war they want to sort of show off, this sort of more personal, more family war. And from the picture we got, it seems to be a more harsh and cold war rather than before, sort of glorifying everything. But I'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Now, what they also mentioned was Fortifications, which basically everyone carries a toolbox now rather than carrying a gas mask. And they said the way this works is if you want to go up and you set up a spider's nest or a foxhole where you can go up and put a machine gun or build a sand barrier or even rebuild a building, you can totally do that just using that toolbox. I'm quite interested to see how this will work, and I think if implemented well, it'll definitely be a good system, but it's just a case of you've got to keep the realism there. You can't really have one guy go up and all of a sudden perfectly rebuild this building. I'm fine if he rebuilds a wall using sort of tall planks of wood and things like that. I'm fine with that, but if it's a case of it's a perfect rebuild, I kind of feel like a bit of the excitement, a bit of the sort of feeling of destroying everything has changed. Now, finally, the thing that is most important that they've announced is Premium is gone. There is no more Premium. There's no paywall, apparently. They're saying that the expansions now will be totally free and open to the community, which does make me wonder, how are they going to make their post-launch money? Are they just buying on the fact that everybody's going to buy the game and make enough money off that? Because if that is the case, I'm not really sure how that's going to work. I do feel that there will be some kind of loot system or something. Even though they didn't specifically say there was, they said that most things or everything came from just going up and using, or just playing the game and leveling up. I do wonder still if there has to be some kind of loot system in order to level your character and get certain looks. Now, finally, to get into the trailer, the first thing I noticed is that at the start of it, you can see the character here with the red hair. She dies holding a Tommy gun and then respawns as a sniper with the exact same look on her class. Again, this makes you wonder if it's possible that it's just one single character rather than having, different characters, different looks. You just have one character and you can just choose any class and spawn in with any weapon within that class. One of the things they talked about in the trailer that is clearly evident just in this clip here is bullets going through the walls. Presumably this is going to be for big caliber rounds, so submachine guns, pistols, maybe smaller caliber semi-automatic weapons won't be able to do this, but obviously big guns, LMGs, equivalent assault rifles and snipers will go through walls, and honestly this is quite cool Although I do hope there is some kind of balancing feature and we are able to distinguish destructible walls from non-destructible. Now just here on the character jumps out the window. First of all, he appears to be holding a Bren machine gun, if I'm not mistaken, and that's a cool gun for me. I'm obviously a big fan of British firearms, and that's cool to see. But on his back, more importantly, is a katana. This is obviously a part of his character customization. Hopefully that's also his melee weapon. But the katana does make me wonder, does that mean we're going to see Japan in the game? Obviously Japan was a massive feature of World War II, but in this reveal they mentioned nothing of the Pacific campaign. So hopefully we'll see some sort of grand operation or even some kind of expansion into Japan. Now you can see that there's tons of tank customization. These tanks that come rolling through, they're covered in leaves and ferns, all different colours. Another thing that is very evident from the characters reacting to the tanks and reacting to the building collapsing is there's a lot of dialogue. I don't know if this is just the way the game is being portrayed to us now, but there's definitely a lot of cases of people talking to us, talking to the character we're watching the eyes of, and you're really wondering, okay, is this how the game's going to work? Is there going to be a lot of communication between the characters, or is this what they're hoping to push us to do? To sort of talk more to each other as a team. So later on we can see that after the person jumps in the back of this truck here, you can see another truck fall on top of a German, and later on we see then the fortifications in action. They appear to be rebuilding a sand barrier, and you can actually see an anti-tank gun in front of the sand barrier just there. And earlier on from that we see a tank towing an anti-air gun. So I wonder then if this is the new feature for anti-air guns, if you have to maybe deploy them with your tank, and that's how it works then, or if this is just one feature of the entire system. Obviously the game sounds fantastic. Some of the sounds in it are just incredible, and you can actually see or hear later on a V1 rocket come flying in with that distinctive buzzing noise that then goes silent. That's something that's hugely characteristic of World War II V1 rockets, and I really happily chose to add that feature in. Like I said, the anti-tank gun is back, which I'm kind of happy about because I feel that it gives every player the ability to take down a tank or at least do some damage to a tank without feeling totally useless when you're mid the battle. You're sort of running along as a support. Oh, there's a tank, I guess there's nothing I can do. Now you can actually use those guns to try and take it out. Now we do see here varying damage to a plane. He hits the plane, he gets certain points for it, and I think that's a good feature. Battlefield 1, they still have the system of you hit a plane with, say, 2 bullets and you get that final kill, or you get you actually finish off the plane, you get the reward for taking it down, which is kind of counterproductive, especially seeing as it doesn't work the same way as the infantry, which does work by, if I do 80 damage to the player, I'm credited with the kill and I get the 80 points, while the other guy only gets the 40 points, 20 for the damage, 20 for the kill. So this is a very minor system. I'm definitely happy to see that they're implementing this sort of thing. Now we do see a slide in there, and this does appear to be a very chaotic campaign, or a very chaotic battle. Not sure if this is the intention of it, or if it's just meant to be a very cinematic trailer. Now to finish off, one of the things that the V1 rocket does possibly tell us is that there is maybe a commander mode. Maybe there's just a bonus you unlock for getting a certain flag, or it's just a feature on the map. But honestly, I kind of hope there is some kind of commander, just because I enjoy doing that as a player, and because I do feel that occasionally they add something else to the game when the commander's ordering you to do something, or ordering you to get a certain player. And lastly, to finish off, we see the now famous shush clip from the German soldier here, before he gets hit with what appears to be a cricket bat covered in barbed wire, which is pretty crazy. And if we have the ability to customize melee weapons, I can't imagine some of the things that are come out. So hopefully I managed to cover everything that is sort of essential within this trailer. There's obviously a few things I've missed, and I probably will mention in a later trailer, if not at the end of the video. So looking back, there's a few more things I noticed which I didn't mention before. First of all is the claw on the left hand of the player. This is truly strange and kind of awesome. If maybe that's going to be part of a melee weapon, if that's just part of the customization, and if so, how crazy can we get with this customization? Because that is honestly quite a big change. Then we see that the bridge has actually fallen down onto the map, and I believe this bridge is in Holland, if not in Holland, in Rotterdam, I believe, but I could be wrong about that. It could be obviously anywhere across Europe, but I believe it is in Holland. I'll have to look it up though. And maybe this is some kind of evolution where you can destroy the whole bridge, if not part of the bridge, and either way I think that's awesome. We do also see a character throwing back a grenade. This is a new feature of the Battlefield games, not done before, and honestly I think this could kind of work. Maybe not solving grenade spam, but definitely helping to sort of alleviate some kind of thought, like, do I want to throw the grenade, or am I at risk of somebody throwing it back at me? And then we also see a player with a Panzerschreck behind his back. And Panzerschreck, of course, is a German anti-tank rocket, I guess you'd call it. I can't really think of a general term for it. But honestly, it's kind of cool to see mobile anti-tank back, unlike the anti-tank guns in Battlefield 1. Now we do also hear a player saying that he needs help out of health, and then the player running up the stairs says he can't do it right now or can't do it for him, and he's carrying a submachine gun, once again adding to that possibility that guns are no longer class generated. The one thing I do feel about this is, first of all, I'm incredibly excited. I'm always going to be excited for Battlefield games, there's not much to say about that, but I think this is a truly cinematic trailer. Maybe not the trailer that many of us wanted. I wanted more of a gameplay trailer, kind of like Fishing in Baku from Battlefield 4, but then again, I wonder if they're showing us this because the true gameplay isn't ready yet. If there's large focus on kind of cinematic things and get the game to look perfect, and then they're going to solve actually to sort of refining the gameplay at the EA Play event, or if this is just a case of this is what they want to show us at the moment. Now the last thing I want to say is that it was a truly sensational turnout. 496,000 viewers at max viewership, which is honestly quite astonishing. It's great to see the Battlefield franchise really progressing like this, and I just hope that the game in the future is developed well enough to accommodate new fans and accommodate old fans. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're as hyped for Battlefield 5 as I am, don't forget to leave it down below in the comments. Tell me what you think of this theme. Tell me if you think maybe we haven't quite seen everything that they want us to see yet and they're holding off to show us certain bits, or if you truly think they put everything on the table for this reveal. Again though, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.